You just got home from a party. A good party, with people you actually love. Nobody was rude, nothing went wrong, the conversations were interesting, you even laughed. And now you're walking into your apartment, closing the door, sitting down on the hallway floor with your coat still on, and you sit there in the dark for 10 minutes, doing nothing. You're not angry, you're not sad, you're just empty. You need there to be no people around, no voices, no notifications, no questions, just silence, like medicine. And somewhere in the back of your head, a familiar thought shows up. What's wrong with me? Why does being around the people I love drain me, when other people seem to get bigger and brighter the longer the night goes? Today I want to tell you something that took me a long time to understand. There isn't anything wrong with you. You're not a broken version of someone who should love crowds. You are doing exactly what an entire branch of the human family has been doing for 200,000 years. And once you see what that branch is actually for, the way you protect your alone time will never feel like a flaw again. Let's start with a strange fact. Humans are the most social mammal on this planet. We outsource almost everything we need to other humans. Food, safety, language, identity, even our sense of who we are gets built out of other people's eyes looking at us. And yet, somewhere between a third and a half of all humans, depending on which study you read, get drained by social contact instead of charged by it. Think about how strange that is. The most social species on Earth has built into itself an enormous group of members who need to escape from the rest. This is not a modern thing. It's not because of phones or work stress or the pandemic or whatever else gets blamed for it. Anthropologists have found patterns of solitary behavior in human cultures going back as far as we can look. Some people, in every group ever studied, have always needed more silence than others. Always. Which raises the question, if humans evolved to need each other so completely, why did evolution also build a whole subset of us who get tired of each other? Why would nature waste energy on this? There has to be a reason. And there is. To find it, we have to go back, way back, to the only thing that has ever really mattered to your ancestors: the fire. Picture a small group of humans 200,000 years ago, maybe 150 people, what anthropologists call Dunbar's number, the natural size of a close human tribe. It's evening. The work of the day is done. The fire is lit in the center of the camp. Now look closely at who is sitting where. Right around the flames, you'll see a tight knot of people, talking, laughing, telling stories about the hunt, settling small arguments, touching each other on the shoulder, negotiating who watches whose kids tomorrow. They are the connective tissue of the group. They keep the social fabric warm. Without them, the tribe would slowly fall apart into separate families, and a fractured tribe is a dead tribe. These are the fire people. Now look at the edges of the camp, past the light of the flames, where the warmth fades and the dark starts. You'll see other figures, sitting alone or in pairs, much quieter. They are not antisocial. They came to the fire earlier. They ate, they greeted, they did their part. But now they're at the edge, and you can see in their faces that this is where they actually rest. They watch the trees. They listen for sounds the fire people can't hear over their own laughter. They think about something one of the elders said yesterday that nobody else has thought about since. They are the edge people. And here is the part that almost nobody tells you. The tribe survived because it had both. A camp made of only fire, people would be loud, warm, deeply connected, and completely blind. Nobody would notice the predator in the brush. Nobody would think long enough about why the hunt failed yesterday. Nobody would sit with a hard problem long enough to find an answer. A camp made of only edge people would be alert, thoughtful, observant, and slowly, quietly, fall apart. Because nobody is doing the daily work of keeping people connected. Survival was not one type. Survival was the balance. Let's go deeper into what edge people were actually doing, because this is where modern culture has lost the thread. The edge person was not lazy. The edge person was not avoidant. The edge person was the tribe's long thinker. When something went wrong in the hunt, the fire people would talk about it for an hour and then move on. The edge person would still be thinking about it 3 days later. And that's the person who eventually noticed that the antelope always crossed the river at the same bend and changed the strategy that fed everyone for the next generation. The edge person was the tribe's noticer. When everyone else was busy maintaining bonds, the edge person was watching the tree line, listening for the wrong kind of silence, smelling smoke before anyone else smelled it. The edge person was the tribe's keeper of strange knowledge, the one who remembered which berries killed a child 2 summers ago, the one who studied the stars long enough to know when the rains would come, the one who sat alone with a piece of bone and figured out how to make it into a better needle. The fire people kept the group alive in the present. The edge people kept the group alive in the future. And in a world that small, both jobs were a matter of survival, not personality. The reason this matters to you watching this video is that your nervous system did not get the memo that the camp got bigger. You are still running the edge person's operating system. When you spend 3 hours at a dinner party tracking everyone's micro-expressions, reading the tone shifts, noticing the thing nobody else noticed about your friend's mood, your brain is doing the same exhausting work it was built for, watching the tree line. Just now, the tree line is a table. So when you come home from that party and sit on the floor in the dark, you are not malfunctioning. You are doing the most ancient thing a person like you has ever done. You are returning to the edge of the camp. You are letting the fire fade from your face. You are giving your nervous system permission to stop scanning. And if you watch carefully, you'll notice that during this time of supposed nothing, you start to think, slowly at first. Then something clicks. Something from the dinner makes sense in a way it didn't make sense while it was happening. You realize what your friend was actually upset about. You remember the thing you wanted to say but didn't have time. You connect something from last week to something from tonight, and a small new idea forms. This is the work edge people do. And it cannot happen with people in the room. It cannot happen with notifications going off. It cannot happen on a group chat. It needs silence, the same way a plant needs darkness to grow roots. Which is why being told to just push through and socialize more is, for someone with this nervous system, like being told to do photosynthesis with the lights off. You can fake it. You can perform it. But the thing your system is actually supposed to do, the thing your tribe needs you for, can't happen there. If you've ever wondered why your best ideas come in the shower, on a walk alone, or at 3 in the morning when nobody else is awake, it's not random. That's your old job, finally getting space to do what it was built for. And now I want to say the thing that I really want you to take from this video. We live in a culture that has decided one of these 2 ancient roles is the correct way to be a human. Loud, social, always available, always networking, always at the fire. The other role, the edge role, has been quietly reframed as a problem to be fixed. Shy, antisocial, needs to come out of their shell, should work on their people skills, maybe should take something to help with the anxiety. Almost nobody stops to ask whether this is anxiety or whether it's the exhausted look of a person doing a very old, very real job in a world that doesn't have a name for it anymore. You are not a failed extrovert. You are not a broken party guest. You are not a person who needs to be fixed into someone louder. You are the other half of a system that has kept this species alive for 200,000 years. The fire people are not better than you. They are doing their job, and you are doing yours. And a world made only of them would die just as fast as a world made only of you. The reason this feels so personal, so heavy, is that for most of your life, you've probably been quietly apologizing for being the way you are. Apologizing for leaving early. Apologizing for needing a quiet weekend. Apologizing for not wanting to get on the call. I want you to stop. The next time you feel that pull to the edge of the camp, to the dark room, to the long walk alone, I want you to recognize it as exactly what it is, an ancient instinct waking up and asking to do its work. If this changed how you think about your own quiet, drop a comment telling me where your edge of the camp is, the place you go to recharge. I read all of them, and honestly, I love these answers. Here's where this lands for your actual life. You don't have to become more extroverted to be a complete person. You have to stop spending your alone time feeling guilty about it, because the guilt costs you the recharge. The 2 hours you spend on the floor in the dark, wondering if there's something wrong with you, are 2 hours your nervous system can't use to do what it came home to do. So the first thing is permission. Tell the people close to you what you actually are, not as an apology, but as information. I'm the kind of person who needs quiet after social time. It's not about you. I'll come back better. Most people, once they understand it's a system and not a mood, adapt easily. The second thing is design. Build your week the way an edge person actually needs it built. If you have a big social day on Saturday, don't book brunch on Sunday. Treat your alone time as a real appointment, not as the leftover space between obligations. The third thing is the wider view. The reason this feels so urgent right now is that we have built a culture that rewards only fire people, loud opinions, constant content, always reachable. And quietly, we are getting dumber, because the edge people who would have noticed the slow problems, the long patterns, the things that need 3 days of silence to see, are too tired and too apologetic to do their old job. The species needs you doing it, not eventually, now. So tonight, if you find yourself sitting somewhere quiet, with no one to talk to, and nothing performing for an audience, don't reach for the phone. Don't fill it. That silence isn't empty. That's where you do the work nobody else in your life is built to do. Subscribe if you want more videos that quietly explain why you are the way you are. And until next time, take care of your fire people, and let them take care of you back by letting you go to the edge of the camp when you need to.